Lots of ducks on the way, just relax. Relax. Lots and lots of ducks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome aboard Enniskillen Castle. I am David, and you've met Josh and Christopher at the gate, and he's at the back. Pass through there, and then we're straight.
Person floating apparatus, 2 life rings, and an additional 2 life rings located at the back deck. For your safety, we have 35 life jackets available in the front cabin, and 20 life jackets located inside the bar. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow instructions from our crew members, who will be on board to guide and assist you. We also have restroom facilities available at the back of the boat, conveniently located beside the bar area. Speaking of the bar, it will be open and serving cold drinks, tea, coffee and snacks once we depart. Thank you for choosing Erne Tours. Sit back, relax and enjoy the cruise.
Eventually, not urgently, but at some point. God, yeah. That's so critical. Well, I saw it and walked past it. The options to everything. They were good.
Get your coffee, get out there to sandwich.
Yeah. You can see lots of chucks here last time. You can see lots and lots of ducks on the road here. There's a duck. She did it warmer, right? She'll take it off.
Oh no, I haven't. It's in the boiler, I see here.
The only downside is they can open it again if they take the boat somehow. Where's the duck? Keep an eye out for the ducks together. The boat is moving. There's the fisherman on the other side, Darren. Fisherman on all sides. Fishermen on the okay, look at all the swans. Lots of swans. Darryl, we can look at them as well. Darryl, look out your window. Look out your window, Darryl. Swans.
Hey guys, welcome to Enniskillen. We got all the swans in the world over on the left hand side here. These are actually families of the same generations of the same family. Mum and Dad are in there somewhere, the original 2, and they have not been able to shake their chicks each year. They just keep hanging around. So they're on probably the 3rd summer now of the same family of swans. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But actually, welcome to a sunny Enniskillen, which isn't too common, to be honest with you. So I'm glad that you have a little bit of nice weather to enjoy the sailing. If any of you aren't from Enniskillen, I'll start off with a little quirky fact about the town. It's the only island town that we have in the entirety of the British Isles. So that's the UK and Ireland, and it's a little quirky fact about us. Differentiates us from the rest of the country. And the island itself, Enniskillen Island, is over on the left hand side of you now. And we've just passed underneath 2 road bridges, as you can imagine, very, very important for us getting on and off the island. Now, the one that we just passed underneath, the second one, was built in 1980 called Castle Bridge with one objective in mind. As you can imagine, a major town on an island only less than 60 acres in size. The road system leaves a lot to be bargained for, and traffic has been a long-standing issue. So that bridge was meant to be the saving grace for locals in 1980. Let us build a bridge, all your traffic problems will go away. Do you think it worked? No, it's awful still, probably worse now than it was back in 1980. But along this embankment on your right hand side, there were a lot of very old cottages that were bought out by the council and demolished to help make way for the bridge. But the owners of these 3 now modern properties said, no, we're not leaving, and that was a very, very good call. As you can see, bylaws were brought into place after the bridge was built, which basically made it impossible to get planning permission that you'd need to build a house on the shorelines of Lough Erne inside the town boundary. Now these 3 are not just inside the town boundary, they've got views of the castle, which you might have just noticed as we went past. We'll come back, don't worry, we'll get great views. But the whole point of the laws was to stop this happening. Second homes, Airbnbs, caravan parks have sprung up in places like Cornwall and Portrush. So it was to stop the same happening here as has had happened there. And with those means that the sort of local property market goes shooting sky high, and locals can't afford to buy a house where they're from. Nobody in Cornwall at 25 is buying a house, I'll tell you that much, because of the price of housing, and this is what's protected us here now. It's really, really good. We're very grateful for that. I can afford to live here now. It's only one of the cheapest parts of the country to buy a house in is Enniskillen and Fermanagh, so it's great. The average property market's very cheap here. It's good compared to other country. Don't get me wrong, if you're going to build or buy a house along the loch, yeah, you're talking mega money. Well, no exact reason, partly because we're so remote, there's not a big population here. The country got more people, so get a coffee please. Prices. Still, it's not cheap down here to buy a house, of course, by no means, but compared with other parts of the country, it's actually relatively reasonable.
Your team, Kayla's team. Kayla's team. Shannon's team. Who's going to present this? Shannon's team, the intro Shannon's team. Kayla's team.
Now up ahead of us on the left hand side you see a couple of boats just at the start of this inlet. And that inlet is how you get around the entirety of the island of Enniskillen. But it's much too shallow and narrow for a boat our size, and most boats for that matter. It's really a paddleboard or a kayak activity, and it's common enough throughout the summer months. People love to take a paddleboard or a kayak around the perimeter of the island. It's a really interesting way to see the town. But David will spin us round port side to the left, and as we do, take a look out on the left, you'll see Enniskillen Castle, the end of the loch, in all of its glory. Now there's two sites, where we are right now and where we'll be in just a few minutes more about the castle's history, but it's just beautiful to soak up from down here. It's lovely. And you made a good call coming out at this time of year, guys, because not too long they're going to block off this little channel for water activities. There's a company on this island here that does kayaking and paddleboarding, etc., and that they closed this part of it up. Monarch to come here for 100 years, so everyone was pretty excited to welcome her to the town. She made her trip for the history books. She attended a service of Thanksgiving for her Diamond Jubilee at the Protestant cathedral, like you'd expect the Queen to do. But then she did something amazing. She got up at half time and crossed the road and attended a service in the Roman Catholic chapel to finish off Thanksgiving, and this was amazing. She was welcomed with open arms, and it was the first time in history that a monarch had even stepped foot inside a Catholic church on Irish soil, so it was that big of a deal. Really, really extending the olive branch across the road, helping to build bridges and move on from the troubles. It's amazing. It's really, really good to see, and we're proud of that fact down here in Enniskillen, that it was the first place it was done. Now, as I said, we're getting closer to the castle now up ahead of us, and you'll get some lovely wee photo opportunities here. A little bit of blue sky, just trying to poke out behind the clouds, but even still, it's a beautiful building. It's iconic too. Enniskillen town wasn't formed until 1607 at the start of the Ulster plantation, but this castle, as I said, nearly 200 years earlier in 1428, and it's one of a kind in the British Isles as well, built from a French design by Scottish stonemasons, and it's amazing. It's now synonymous with County Fermanagh. It appears on our county emblems, county crests.
A boat dog. We're all on board. Get the boat dog. Great, like.
the left-hand side before it disappears from view, you'll see a 3-storey grey building there on top of the hill. Now that is another one of our most incredible and iconic buildings in Enniskillen. It's a school. It was Pretoria Royal School for over 400 years. It was first founded in 1608 by Royal Charter, one of 6 Royal Free Schools in Ulster County towns, but today it is no longer Pretoria. In 2016 it was closed for the final time, and it's now Enniskillen Royal Grammar School. Now, in Pretoria's history we had some pretty famous pupils to go through the school. We had the hymn writer Henry Francis Lyte. He wrote some of the most famous Christian hymns in the world, Abide With Me being the most significant. Famous playwrights Oscar Wilde and Samuel Beckett are also notable alumni from Pretoria. Samuel Beckett, of course, a Nobel Prize winner for literature. His best play, Waiting for Godot, was once described by critics as a 2-part play where nothing happens twice. So I'm not really sure how he's won that, but I'm no expert. Now, in recent years, Neil Hannon and his band, The Divine Comedy, have all come out of the schools. And most recently is Robert Balakoon. He is the hero of Ireland's Six Nations campaign there in February and March. He went to the school, and so did the 3 of us on board. We're all old Praetorians as well, David, Chris and myself. And none of us are as famous or as rich as the other ones we just named, but we have a few tricks up the sleeve, don't we, David? Now, Rob, I actually went to school with Rob, and it's ironic now that he's a rugby player for his country, and I'm stood here giving these all away there, but he was some rugby player. He was amazing back then. But Pretoria wasn't just a rugby school, it was also a rowing school. You'll see the boat club over on the left-hand side here now, and this gentleman up the front's from Cork. He's just had a wee chat with me, and I'm going to brag to him because this is the most successful rowing club in Ireland. It has been for about 10 or 15 years. We've finally taken over from some of your best down in Cork. But it's remarkable.
Oh yeah, the O'Donovan brothers, yeah, they won
exactly.
the Olympics.
You've got incredible rowers, Olympians like you say, and now we're on the same page because 2 of our rowers who just came out of this boat club rowed for Ireland in the Paris Olympics in 2024, made it all the way to the men's pair. Ross Corrigan and Nathan Timoney are their names. Amazing young fellas, great athletes, but testament to their commitment levels, because we all tried our hand at rowing as well at the school, and we were useless, absolutely useless. It's not easy, and it's also, like I say, the commitment levels are just amazing too. They're out before school starts, after school finishes, Saturday mornings, any free time they're in the water rowing, which is, wasn't us at the time to be fair, but now they're Olympians, so they've done incredibly well. And in a town like Enniskillen where everybody knows everybody anyway, the town's pubs were full and everybody was drinking, hoping they could bring back some Olympic medals. They just missed out, but they'll be back in 2 years, I've no doubt about it. And everyone in the town's very proud of the boat club and what it achieves, definitely. Now, the little stretch of water that we're just sailing into now, either side, we've got the 2 signs between us and this bridge-like structure in the distance ahead. This is called the Narrows. And the Narrows are beautiful, particularly in the autumn months when all of the leaves change all sorts of colours. But today they're also significant for a different reason. For you guys, when we've actually seen a couple today, we have a lot of these living here. Anybody know what that is? Kingfisher, absolutely right. One of the most elusive birds in the entire country, but we have 20 breeding pairs of kingfisher living along the Narrows here. They nest in burrows along the right hand side, and at the moment they are nesting, so they are predominantly on that nest in the burrows. But we saw one this morning just come out of its cover underneath these overhanging branches and just fly across the top of the water, down the stream a bit. So keep your eyes open. It's the really stark blue and orange colours that will catch your attention if they do take flight. So fingers crossed, guys, we get 2 bites of the cherry as well. We'll come back this way too.
It's very low ahead, the bridge is.
Hi, we won't be going underneath now. We still too right.
Kind of veers to the right position.
To the left.
To the left. Oh, very good.
Yes, where that little white building is.
Very good. Oh, I see the no entry sign for the boats. I see it now.
We love it.
Yeah. The
Timmy Mallis do the when he was here.
He
Very
did.
good,
Timmy
yeah.
Mallet came out with us.
Did the
Sat-
River Shannon and all
Sat
that.
right where
Yeah,
you are,
very good,
actually.
yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He came out and he painted Devenish Island.
Very
for
good.
us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The paintings.
Yeah.
You the different. I follow them on Facebook.
Exactly.
And, that's right.
Been making some ground.
Yeah.
Didn't matter the weather. He was still.
That's
tired.
right in all weather. Yeah. Fair play to him because.
It was right.
I find it awkward myself when it's heavy rain and cycling. There's awful damage to the brake pads because we're all the hills and Cork and
Not easy.
yeah. Oh, I
As I
see
say,
it now,
don't worry, we get a second go at it, and the one we saw on the way out of the last sailing was actually where we are right now. It just took from the wing and flew right along this section and out the water, out the other side of the gate. So honestly, they are here. I'm not just fibbing to you, there are plenty of them around. They do make me look daft sometimes, but fingers crossed we'll see one. Now Davey's taking us through Pretoria Lock, and this is good old-fashioned Irish lock gate. There's no gates, they're not closed, they're lying open for us because we have so much rain here in Fermanagh that we never need to close them, that's the truth. There's no need to create two water levels. But that's what is capable of happening right alongside us. You'll see the deep grooves underneath the arches of the sluice gate. That's because underneath the water there's 15-ton metal plates underneath each one. And when necessary, which is never really, we can operate those plates to rise up and create a dam-like effect across the river. Now the only reason we need to do that is if we had a drought in Fermanagh, and we're never going to have a drought in Fermanagh, so it's not really a necessity, but it's a fail-safe, it's good to have. And it's because of one major difference. Out here is Lower Lough Erne, and the depth of the river is between 12 and 13 metres on average, whereas on that side it's Upper Lough Erne, and it's only between 2 and 3 metres on average deep. So there's a big difference, and if we were in drought and water wasn't replenishing as it empties to the sea in Ballyshannon, then the water level would fall too low on that side and boats couldn't get around. So that's the only reason it's there. Way out on the left hand side, guys, you might just about make a heron out of the reed beds. It's just that odd little skinny structure that's poking out of the reeds over to the left. He's a pretty big one, to be honest, as well. We have lots of herons out here in Lough Erne, and they are amazing predators. They'll hunt everything from fish to amphibians to baby birds. But they get the nickname the old man of the loch here in Fermanagh because when they're not hunting like he was with his neck outstretched like that, he sat down with his neck hunched like this, so they look like a wee old man in a rocking chair. So they get the old man of the loch. I noticed since we passed through the lock gates how different it is. You really don't realise you've just come away from Enniskillen town, but it's so different out this side. And it looks much like this for the next hour and a half to 2 hours, travelling at this speed. Apart from the fact you do have to pass through a series of islands, the South Islands of Lower Lough Erne, and some of those are just dense forest, and it looks like something out of Jurassic Park. It's incredible. But when you eventually get through the islands, if you ever look on a map of Fermanagh, you'll see there's a rather wide sector at the top. just thought we saw something. It's another heron actually, he's just poking his head. See the blue barrel? He's just in behind the barrel moving, there he goes, just creeping along. Now, I was saying, my apologies, when you look at a map of Fermanagh, you'll see a wide part of the loch at the north side, and that's the loch, that's called the Broad Loch, and the Broad Loch is a dangerous place. You don't want to get caught out there on a bad day. Now, the shorelines are miles across, they actually can hit 70 metres deep as well in the Broad Loch, but we get mental winter storms through Fermanagh, and we get huge waves recorded there too. 4 metres is the record, 4 metre high waves, which is ridiculous for a freshwater body.
You have to type it out.
It's relatively quiet out here on the loch this afternoon. There's not too many people out and about, but it is a very busy section of the loch here, and particularly the next few months as the weather improves and people get some time off. You eventually get 30, 40 boats all trying to get through that loch gate at the same time, and it's an interesting experience to be involved in because of one big reason. You don't need any license or qualification to take a boat out here on the loch. So most of the people who are all jostling for a position have never driven a boat before, and that's when you do see some incredible things. Now, there are very good hire companies out here in Lough Erne. You can hire anything from a small day boat to a 15-berth cruiser, and they just give you a 25-minute video before you take the keys on how to drive it, what all the buttons mean, how to tie it up on jetties. Then they chuck you the keys and say good luck, enjoy yourself, don't sink. And of course that is mental behaviour, to be quite honest, because a lot of people don't remember everything inside that 25 minutes. One of the things they tell you about is to do with these weird structures sticking out of the water here, red and white markers called the shovels. Now you can see clearly with the one on our right, the colour code is fairly straightforward. Pass on the white side and you'll be alright. White is right, as we're taught. Red side, and red is dead, of course, so don't go on the red side is one of the things those videos tell you about, and most people don't listen to them or don't remember that bit, because a lot of people end up running aground on the red side of the shovels because they just don't know what it means. But to be honest with you, it's good for tourism. That's what we're told as to why there are no qualification or licensing matters, because it attracts visitors to the area, and it definitely does. For example, the continental visitors from the likes of France and the Netherlands and Belgium, etc., all have to go through stringent testing before they get their license that allows them to boat, whereas here you don't have to, so they come here for their boating holidays instead. And they'll rent boats for a week or two and just go all the way around Ireland, which is something you can do. Thanks to the reopening of the Erne Shannon in the 90s, you could take a boat from Balcoo and travel all the way down to County Limerick without taking your boat out of the water, which is amazing, and it shows you the access that you can have around Ireland from your boat. Amazing. Silly, which he's right. You can actually get down to Waterford from here.
Right,
it's not just Limerick, it stops. You can take the Shannon all the way down to Limerick, but if you don't fancy Limerick, you can take the Royal or the Grand Canals across the country down to Dublin. Or if you don't fancy Dublin, you can come off the Grand Canal and head down to Waterford and empty into the channel at the bottom of Ireland. So there is talk of them reopening the Ulster Canal, or at least doing the work necessary to be able to reopen it. And if they did that, you could enter Ireland from the north coast, down the River Bann, all the way into Lough Neagh, then to Lough Erne, down to Shannon, and go all the way down to Waterford. So you could do the entire length of Ireland by boat if they get the Ulster Canal up and running. But it'll take a couple of decades, there's no doubt about it. It's in a bad way. But it would be incredible, and if they manage to do it, another real attraction for people to come and visit Ireland, do a boating holiday out of the country. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Class.
It's coming into full view, and the monastery will be fully visible in just a moment or two. And I'll give you a little rundown of the history of the monastery before you get off to explore. But I just want to highlight Devenish Island's, well, what it's valuable for today, which is not just culturally and historically significant for humans, it's also ecologically incredibly important for other animals. Now we have breeding waders like curlew, snipe, skylark, redshank, lapwing, all nesting here and on other islands out in Lough Erne, and they're species that are declining across Europe. And the main reason for that is breeding grounds being taken away, suitable habitat being lost. So that shows you how important these islands are for their long-term survival. Most of those birds you might never have heard of because they are so rare. When you get off the island, listen out for them and take a look up to the skies, and you might see them, any of you who know what you're looking for. If you have the Merlin bird app, you can always just listen to the bird calls and you'll hear lots of them. It's amazing. Now, because of the rarity of these species, the land that they live on, just that you're looking at now, they're ground nesting birds, so they'll nest in those tall clumps of grass, but the grass itself needs to be managed as well, and it's done so by the local farmer, not through machines. He's not allowed to use machines on board at all, it would cause too much disturbance, so instead he puts livestock up here, and there's actually 59 cows with their one bull up here at the moment, and they're replaced by 300 sheep in the winter, and they will constantly graze and manage the habitats. It's a really good system. If you ever get the chance to see a farmer moving his animals, it's another sight to see. Out here he uses one of those boats, the dugout canoes called the cots that I was telling you about, but today's cots are more like modern US Navy landing craft. They're unbelievable pieces of kit, and they'll tear onto the island and throw their front barrier, and all the cows or sheep will just storm off. You're getting your best views of the monastery so far, to the left of you. And I'll give you a brief history. Davey touched on it. 560 AD was when it was first founded, 1,500 years ago. But for 600 odd years, all the buildings on the island were made out of wood and mud and straw. They didn't build with stone because they had to import it from the mainland. But around 1150 AD, they started to do just that. And one of the buildings they first built is still a perfect preserved example of a round tower left in Ireland. But it wasn't just a bell tower. You'll see a staircase leading you up to the doorway, 3 meters off the ground, and that is because Vikings destroyed the monastery on 2 occasions prior to its construction, so they wanted to give themselves a place to retreat and hide, and monks poured boiling oil out of the top of the windows to get rid of people at the bottom. Clever, crude. Now at the top of the hill you got St Mary's Abbey in ruins at the top, and also Devenish Cross stood to the left as we look at it. Now they were both in around the 13th, 14th century. And the cross is an interesting one because unlike other Irish high crosses, which are made from one piece of continuous stone, this has 2 pieces, a head and a pillar. Nobody knows why. It indicates something happened and they had to fix it, but again, it's a puzzle. Now at the bottom of the hill you've got the church and the house of St Malasha, and in the house, the smaller ruins, there is an open stone coffin on the ground. Get inside it and try it out. It has been passed down by monks, the folklore, that was St Malasha's grave. And if you get in and spin around 3 times, it's rumoured to cure your worst ailment. So form a queue. Now guys, we're going to come into our jetty, so I'm going to ask one really important thing. Please all sit down for it. Go and enjoy it, guys.
If I open it up and you can check it.
Gotta see what's up. 5 minutes ago. She fell asleep at 4:53. Hey mate. Oh yeah, so what they're going to do is they're moving the boat. See look. This is the jetty, wherever we'll get off. So there's one at the front, one now. Yeah, good point. So look, there's one at the front. front and one at the back, and they tie the boat with a rope so that the boat doesn't float away. See? Yeah, they're tying it to the jetty with the rope. There's a big rope he's holding, you see? And he's going to tie it round and round so that it doesn't float away. So he's doing the rope at the front, and the other man is doing the rope at the back. Okay. I'm coming back on it, so they'd probably rather that actually. They don't really want it to take, you don't want stuff going on.
No, but they might have the bins to get
Yeah.
Then if you pull the kind of